What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Infamous in 2021. Talk about if that will be the year we get a remaster, if that's the year that we get something new with the Infamous franchise. Now, I believe this was asked by a user called Roman Pierce, so I do want to thank him. Hopefully, he's watching this video. I do want to thank him for this suggestion. As always, with these videos, you guys want me to talk about any other games that could happen in 2021 or are rumored or are for sure or not for sure at all, any kind of these games, let me know in the comments below. I've been trying to have a little series where I talk about pretty much any game franchise and talk about their status going into 2021. And it's Infamous's turn again, thanks to Roman. Really quickly, before I jump into there, if you guys are into all this stuff, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. If you guys want to follow my second channel, if you guys super like my stuff, my second channel's name is Podcast Now Plus. You can, of course, search it up on YouTube, or it'll be in the description below. There'll be a link for it, okay? All right, so I do want to say this. It's not completely, like, pulled out of thin air that this franchise could come back. I mean, I have pulled things out of thin air. I've just said things before in the past that, I mean, they're just all speculation, right? But there's never been any, like, evidence to back it up. And I've been always clear with that. But this one, I think over the summer, now I don't know which month, I don't know which day, anything like that, but there was the news that the domain for Infamous had been renewed, or that when you clicked on it, like, it's still there. There was a big thing with the domain name for the Infamous website, and it got a lot of people to thinking that there could be a remaster, like, in the works. Now, really, there are a couple things that I do think I should say that do help overall, I think, the discussion of potentially getting an Infamous game. Number one is this. Still, these Infamous games are scattered across all these different consoles, 2 consoles, but they're scattered, and there's really no way of getting them all together, at least as of right now. You have Infamous, Infamous 2, I guess if you want to count Festival of Blood, right, which, by the way, is an amazing game. I mean, I guess DLC, okay? You have those 2 games, and those are stuck on the PS3. There was nothing. There was no remaster, there was no collection, there was no anything for the PS4. Then you had Second Son, and technically First Light, again, the bigger DLC for it. And that game is on PS4. Now, that game is on PS5 through the PS Plus collection, so it does have some enhancements, right? It's not the PS5 free upgrade, where it's literally, and again, even games on PS5 aren't necessarily built from the ground up on PS5, okay, but they have, like, the additional upgrades, okay? Games like Avengers and Cyberpunk that are going to get them, or like Miles has it, okay? So Infamous Second Son isn't exactly like that, but it's the next thing, okay? It is all actually really confusing, but the bigger point being, none of these games are with each other. They're all separated, okay? Now, I do believe Infamous 1 and 2 is a collection, like on the PS3, but that's it. So you can't play 1, 2, and Second Son all in one place. So that's the first thing. They need to fix that. They really need to fix that. It's the same thing I always say, and maybe I can make a video for this in the future too. It's the same thing I say with Sly Cooper. Not just for the thousands of reasons that they should continue that franchise or remake it, remaster it, make a Sly 5, but also you can play 1 through 3 in the remaster collection, which I did. I platinumed them all that kind of stuff. You can do that, but you can't play Thieves in Time. They're separated, and it's just not. It's not a good thing. You want to put all these games together. I get you could go off and say, well, God of War, there's no way of getting all that together, or Uncharted 1 through 3 is together, but not Lost Legacy and not Uncharted 4. So I mean, there are counter examples where it's like, well, these games are still, they can still do it, but that's just one. The second thing is something that happened, I guess over the summer, but more like in the fall time too. Really, now this is all inferring. These are all my assumptions. These are all speculation, okay? But they are based off of, like, things that have actually happened. Ghost of Tsushima did really well. We all know that, okay? Ghost of Tsushima 2 is probably going to happen, okay? Sucker Punch has proven that they can do it. I'm so happy for them. Truly, they're kind of the, there's a lot of, like, like big stories, like things that we can applaud in 2020 in the gaming industry. There's also things we can't, but there's things we can. And Sucker Punch's kind of return to form is absolutely one of the top ones, okay? So Ghost of Tsushima 2 is probably happening. However, you have basically people on PlayStation that have said, and including, Jim Ryan himself, right, who said the goal with PlayStation to compete with Xbox. Now, this is what he actually said. This isn't speculation. What comes next is speculation. He has said to compete with Xbox, right? Because Xbox is buying up all these studios. Sony can't do that. They don't have as much money. They will buy studios and buy publishers and buy developers if they see fit. but their main strategy is acquiring companies very small, that are small, and organically growing them, and continuing to grow the ones they already have, building them to be bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? So they want to use what they already have, and they want to grow from within, which is that's a good way of doing it, okay? And I mean, Microsoft's method works for them, so this isn't like a console war kind of thing, and Sony's method works, for what they're doing. So, here's the thing. Like Naughty Dog. Let's look at Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is a 2-studio company. They're making 2 things at one time, okay? You look at Insomniac. Now, Insomniac was bought by Sony. Before that, they were obviously they were them, and they had multiple studios. Now, they still have multiple studios, but they are capable of working on like 3 things at a time, okay? You have Sony Japan. Sony Japan is capable of working on many things at the same time. There are some studios that still seemingly are only a 1-studio team. Like Guerrilla Games really seems like it only does, like right now, like Horizon. So they only work on like one thing at a time, okay? I guess like if you want to include like the DLC, I guess you can include that. But for the most part, like one thing. Sony Santa Monica, right? God of War, that's a little interesting because remember they were doing that sci-fi game and then it got canceled and then they were doing God of War, but there's still rumors that maybe they are doing the sci-fi game. So maybe they've expanded to do 2 teams. The point is, here, and I know I kind of went on a rambling session there, but the point is this. They have studios that are capable of doing more than one thing at a time. They probably want, based off of the quote from Jim Ryan, they probably want all their studios to get there within the next couple of years. Any studio that's only working on one game, hey, if you're successful, if we believe, if we want to keep growing this, in the way that we're doing it, we're going to keep adding to your team and to the point where you're going to have 2 teams where you can work on 2 games at the same time. Okay, that's what we want. Makes sense. I think it works. I think that's actually a really, really good strategy. Again, like if you have these talented teams, why not just build with them? Like, why not have them continue to build? Okay, so how does that get you the Sucker Punch? Well, from what we know, Sucker Punch is only a 1-studio team. They've only been working on, Ghost of Tsushima for the past like 10, 20 years, right? I'm just kidding. But they've only worked on Ghost of Tsushima. And before that, they only worked on Infamous. I don't see why not. Why couldn't you do another team in there, even if it's a smaller team to start? And hey, you want to know what a nice project would be to kind of get their feet going, right? To kind of get the blood pumping? An Infamous remaster. Why not do it? I think it makes sense. I really do. Now, and I know I spent most of this time just kind of petitioning why Sucker Punch could do it. Anybody could do it. I mean, they've had teams make the Medieval, right, remake. They have, Blue Point. Now, Blue Point's not owned by them, but they're doing remakes. Now, those are remakes, they're not remasters, but remasters, not to say, like, making games is easy because it's absolutely not, but remasters is definitely easier than remaking the game. Okay, so, they could easily do that. And we're still in an age, in fact, we're kind of at like the peak of an age where like remakes and remasters are really popular. EA is getting into the party now, right, with Mass Effect. I wouldn't be shocked if they do it for Dead Space and stuff like that. Like everybody's doing it. So I really, you look at Infamous, popular franchise, a franchise that's been gone for a long time, franchise that probably doesn't need a new game. I mean, you could always do a new Infamous game, okay? And I'm saying like it could just do a new game and probably be fine, but maybe they feel like, well, we want to kind of test it. Like, do people still like Infamous, right? That age-old test that they've done with, not they, but like in general, the industry has done with remakes and remasters in general. Do people still like Crash? Do people still like Spyro? Do people still like blank game, right? Kind of the point. Now, sometimes they do it for that. Sometimes they do it just to get people excited, right? Even with like Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I mean, they're not doing it to test people to then make a new Mass Effect game because we know there is a new Mass Effect game already being made. This one is more like, all right, let's get people back into Mass Effect and then we can give them a new game. So, like each company is a different example. For Infamous, I mean, I could see them saying, hey, maybe it's both. Maybe it's, okay, 2021, maybe 2022, like we give them a remaster, we put all the Infamous games in one spot so everybody can play it, all right? So we solve that. Maybe that doesn't even come from Sucker Punch. Maybe that's somebody else. But then, a few years down the line, maybe they did, without even telling us, grow Sucker Punch to a 2-studio team. Maybe we can get Ghost of Tsushima 2 and a new Infamous game. I really find it hard to believe that Infamous is done forever. I think it's such a, not power, I don't want to say powerful like as in like the pun, but it really is such a powerful franchise and property that they have. It's such a good idea. It's such like a good thing in general, right? There could be a TV show made. I mean, you can make a movie, TV show about it, right? We talked about that a few days ago, right? There's so much potential there. And by the way, again, like putting it on the PS Plus collection, now they could have picked any game. Now they only have so many exclusives, so I guess you could say, well, eventually you're going to have to nail all of them. But I mean, a game that came out right, I mean, it came out in 2014, right in the beginning of the PS4 life cycle, and it's one of the PS Plus collection. So, like, you know what I mean? So, basically, my thing is they haven't forgotten about it. It still seems like it's relatively important. And by the way, again, like, I don't remember the exact story, but I feel like they renewed the domain name for it. So, it's like, all right, well, it's obviously something that they want to stick around, right? You can maybe get a little bit more out of this. I don't think they're going to just drop it from the face of the earth, okay? So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think Infamous will return in 2021? Do you think there could be a new game, a remaster? What do you think? Let me know. As always, again, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And if you guys want to subscribe to my second channel, Podcast Now Plus is its name. I only do one video a day there, so I know some people maybe don't like the fact that I do so many videos on this channel. Less videos over there. Maybe it's easier for you guys to subscribe to that channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.